Hi fellow readers, in this video I'm going to talk about Can't Stop Cursing You. I currently own and have read the first 3 volumes. I don't remember if more has been released yet, but I will definitely be picking up more volumes. So that's a hint about my thoughts about this. I will quickly read the back of volume 1 and then I'll get more into like my thoughts about it. So this is, it was just an ordinary day at Yami High until it wasn't. A ringing cell phone and the splatter of blood marked the beginning of a deadly game. The rules: contractor Mikia has 30 days to curse kill 30 people or meet a fate worse than death. On the other side, curse breaker Sayama must identify the killer without falling prey to one of Mikia's curse kills. Only time will tell who will emerge victorious. So this series is about a curse breaker who is Sayama on the cover here, and Sayama goes and works different jobs in order to break the curse. It's like literally job title, curse breaker. I wonder what he does as a curse breaker, but this makes for a very bloody, gory series that I'm here for. I love dark things like this. So in this one, yeah, there's a high school that if you get, what's currently happening at the high school, how about this, is there are people who are getting calls and they pick up the call and then they splat die. And so there's some kind of curse happening with the phones, and so it's trying to figure out who is making the calls, which it is given away, like we know it's Mikia, who is cursing these people and how to stop them. So that's where Sayama comes in, has to find who it is, who's making the calls, and put a stop to the calls. And the way that goes about. We also meet Kanta Yamazaki, who is here, and hopefully it focuses on it. Hopefully you are seeing Kanta, who ends up, he's one of the students and is actually a friend with Mikia, but doesn't know that Mikia is doing this horrible thing because Mikia seems like a very princely, popular boy. So like, why would he start cursing and killing people? But he's just a psychopath, really, and just wants to see people die and wants to have that control. So there's not much more to it than that. But Kanta, who is just an average boy and sometimes feels kind of ignored by the females in his class. Not that that's too important. I'm just saying like that's his main thing, is he's just an average person and can sometimes be seen as a dork. But Kanta decides to help Sayama any way that he can, and that is part of the whole thing. We end up meeting Sayama, but also Kanta, and Kanta kind of becomes an assistant. And that follows throughout the other volumes. So this one mainly does deal with the cell phone curse thing, but also starts to lead into volume 2. And volume 2's, there is another curse killer, obviously, but has targeted other victims, and so it's trying to find out like why she's targeting these people in particular, and they end up with like a curse mark, and then over time like stuff happens. It's not as explosively awful as volume 1 was, but at the same time, yes, people are dying from this too. I'm trying to think, the first one I think was pretty bad, but anyway, might be slightly less. I was just thinking about how they end up going out, and I don't think it was really slightly less. But anyway, they have to find out who the curse killer is in here. And I think actually they do find her pretty quickly, but it's more finding the other victims and then how to stop it, how to get her to not kill them. So this was also a very great volume. And then in volume 3, I believe we're back at Kanta's school, if I remember correctly. And this one, they make them play this game where, I don't remember if they're holding something actually, but I think, no, they're not holding, but like they get cursed. And so I think they can see that they're like cursed, and they have like a certain amount of time where they have to tag another student, and that'll pass that timer onto somebody else. And if you have the timer on when it hits 0, then you die. But that doesn't end the game. The timer goes on to another student. So it's just like this continual like tag game that leads to bloody death. And Sayama once again has to like stop the bloody curse from happening, find out who the curse killer is, and then put a stop to the curse. And it's just really good. I just really enjoy this. Plus the artwork is astounding. Like, it's so good for me. Like, I really value artwork. You can see how like there's something just appealing about this. Like, even though he's kind of like creepy looking, stop focusing on me. It's okay. You can focus on this. Even though there's something, you know, also very plain about it. It's look at some of these. Can you see her with like all the skulls? I love that. And this one. And this one. This was the volume 1 back. I mean, I was sold on this manga just from this cover, like for volume 1. I waited for volume 1 for so long. I don't know if you remember that, but I ended up getting volume 2. And I was so excited. Like, I had ordered the two together, and I was so excited to get them. But then volume 1 was just out of stock for so long. And when I finally got it, I think I might have gotten it with volume 3. I was so excited. And I'm glad that I finally started reading it. And now I just need to get more volumes because it's so good and twisty and like literally just the kind of thing that I love. And I especially love it in the fall when October's coming and I'm reading like dark and disturbing things. I like it. I like that whole element. I could read horror any time of year. Actually, I'm a huge fan of horror. But you know, it's always nice when it's spooky season because you don't feel as weird for enjoying the horror as much than in other times of year. But this is great if you are into horror and you're into crime solving, but like crime solving with a twist, because obviously these are life and death stakes, and it's just following that story along, seeing if Sayama can get the curse broken before more people die, how many people will die, will it impact people in the story that we like, is there a way to save everybody? I don't think there'll ever be a way to save everybody. Like, literally the point of these is like you see somebody die, kind of like watching a Criminal Minds episode or something where usually somebody dies or something really bad happens. But I'm okay with that too, because it's just, they're fun in like a twisty fun way. Like, it's not like, ooh, light and happy and you're laughing through the whole thing, but it's like so engaging because you're trying to see if they can catch the curse killer and break the curse. And so I really had a good time reading them and would recommend it if you like horror and you like twisty, bloody games and problem solving and destroying curses. And I think you would like this too. So give it a read, especially during this time of year. I think it's fitting. You'll get the vibes. You'll have a good time. So yeah, Can't Stop Cursing You. Give it a try. I really enjoyed it. That is it for this video. Until next time.